Good morning. It's 2 o'clock this morning. I'm listening to Coast out of California with George Norrie. Before him, it was Art Bell. The only people that really were telling any of the truth anymore because of your Illuminati that's controlled. Your media controlled by your Illuminati. Excuse me. It's cold as heck here. I have been telling about mind control murders since 1976. Told about getting a letter from the FBI July the 23rd, 79. Larry Flint was shot by a program shooter. For God's sake, George Wallace of Alabama. These can be proven. And more. Then you got the list. Jack Hartsfield was FBI himself. Worked undercover as a news reporter out of Huntsville, Alabama. Then he knew Larry Flint. Then he lived in Santa Fe and covered Los Alamos as a reporter. There were lists of people, and this gets I'm appalled at listening to George Norrie. This man knows the truth. The other guy, who seems so well versed and seems to be a good guy, absolutely out here with gets all the press and all these people they can talk to, and yet they don't tell the truth. Believe me, George Norrie knows. They're talking about the Las Vegas shooter. They're calling people that were programmed all kinds of names. Doing it for publicity, using an FBI report, saying they seek publicity, like the Sandy Hook young man that killed his mother and then he's dead. I have been telling you this, and about my kidnapping. I've put up letters from Jack Hartsfield. His nephew was Hank Hartsfield, that's an astronaut, commander of 2 shuttles. I have put up here about Mark and Scott Kelly's wife. Well, excuse me. I'm here, and I've been telling this on a daily basis about mind control being used to murder. About the Tesla files that are about programming people and curing an illness way back in the 30s when they stole the files. They had a whole lot of other stuff in there. If I'm up this morning and my head is so cold here, and I'm elderly now, and I've got problems because of my heating system here. I had to turn it on, and I am so sick. And to hear all this, I've been telling them about the mental health system. These people are not mentally ill. They're programmed. It's mind control. And for George Norrie, of all the people, with people that listen to him, to get up there with this man, the other man seems to, where are they? Are they in La La Land or something? These people have the media right now. They could tell the truth. Don't tell me George Norrie doesn't know, because I have conversed with him on Gmail. He totally knows, has known for a long, long time. It shouldn't have taken me to tell him. Now, I'm up here at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to wake somebody up and get in trouble. As if telling the truth doesn't get you in trouble. I told about my kidnapping, learned about, and knew something was wrong all this time about it. The way I grew up in Alabama. I'm not going to go through all I can say is they use the mental health system. And they were talking about this, making it easier, how easy it is for someone, and even making it more easy, someone, just like they did with Anastasia. That was her up in Charlottesville, Virginia. And all it took, and I can tell you this is being used, it's sick beyond belief. God knows what has been the purpose. Somebody could take this and say, oh, well, she's a babbling fool or she's nuts. No, excuse me. The nuts are, if you want to use the word nuts, they're not the programmed shooters. I mean, it makes me so mad that these supposedly intelligent people are allowing this to happen. I cannot believe it that I have spent since 1976 trying to get my name back about who I am, and there's no doubt about that. You got Larry Flynt was shot by a programmed shooter. I'm flown out there after I'm going through all this hell, and I meet him. He does a editorial about me, and because he helped me in the campaign. Because in the campaign, this doctor I've been writing about, and the shooting of Flynn, I'd never met him because these murders were done by programmed shooters. And I can tell someone, they hear me, I'm up this morning because I hear it, and it's so appalling to me that I have spent all this time and trying to get my name back. And my children, God knows where they are, because when I got the letter from the FBI, William Harper was U.S. Attorney. He was a good guy in Atlanta. And the FBI came back with ongoing investigation, national security involved. And then I was almost killed April Fool Day. I have told all this in detail. I haven't gone through it all. It's so easy to use a mental health system, and that's what they're doing, to take your guns away, to have someone arrested and hauled off to a mental institution. And that's where James Holmes was, the shooter up in Aurora, Colorado. Well, he wasn't the shooter, he was programmed to. The Sandy Hook, I've put all these up. They're done in patterns. You can prove some of the murders. They didn't use a gun. Here the man didn't. But right here in Roanoke, I have put it up. You can actually prove those in the patterns because there's papers that go along with it that you couldn't make up. How many people around here know about this? I have contacted the media, and then they turn around because your Illuminati that your president has talked about that controls the press. It gets in, and I can hear somebody saying, oh, this babbling fool. I've told you the truth this babbling fool has. All I need to do is tell it before this control Congress line that want to pass gun control. Mark and Scott Kelly, I started telling about that. They're twins. Mark Kelly is married to Gabby Gifford, who was U.S. Congresswoman. And she was shot during a campaign, I guess speech or rally, in Tucson, Arizona, a few years back. Same thing used, except you can, if you listen to this one, Mark and Scott Kelly, twins, it gets into, and now Gabby Gifford is going around wanting your guns. And she gets the press. Who was the young man that's supposed to have shot, I know his name as well as, was supposed to have shot Reagan. He's been put in by the way, his father and mother, what is his name, is out of Denver, Evergreen, Colorado. Anyway, his parents were close with the Bushes, who were vice president under Reagan. They had just had dinner with the Bushes the night before, and he's supposed to have gone out and shot Reagan the next day. Bull feathers. Nobody has told this what has happened to me in all this. And I think the fact that Larry Flynt was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, 78, while I'm doing the book in Moonraker, apartments there in Marietta. And I'm telling this, he gets shot. And then I'm skipping what they did to me. I got the letter from the FBI trying to get the book published. I've told it over and over and over. I put up the information. And I'm sitting here at 2 o'clock in the morning. Can hardly hear. I've been in this land of the free and the home of the brave. I've been through holy hell since the day I was born, or right after that. My mom was an American. I'm English. My father's English. God help me if I mention his name here. You're so gun-ho to take the guns away from these people who were programmed. Well, all I can say is if you don't care any more about your fellow man and about the truth, you can't take everybody's guns away. Well, you can. You can't take knives away. You can't take vehicles where they'd run you down. Guns just happen to kill more people if the person's programmed. When are you going to get off your asses, people, and get out and protest for, not for gun control, but for the truth to be told about programming? And, well, I'm not so sure anymore that MK Ultra is the total people behind this, and that they're the bad guys. Bad guys are sitting in church on Sunday, sitting all over this country, allowing this to happen. And when they were talking about the man out in Las Vegas, what is it? What's his last name? Because it's where his last name is where you keep horses. Starts with a P. This man, they even brought him up, and believe me, George Norrie knows this. If this other guy doesn't know it, he's the one that's talking to him. Seems to be a very intelligent man, very methodical in his thinking and reasoning things out. You're going to tell me that they're going to get up here, and I'm up here at this time of the morning, somebody can call somebody out here and have me. They're talking about also about how easy it is to have someone hauled off to a mental hospital given psychotic drugs. You don't need anything. That's what they did to Anastasia. She's dead, and it was Anna. I'm going to get off of here. I've been telling this, so help me God. There is such a hell involved in this. How many people have died? How many people does it take to die? Well, the whole thing is to take your guns away. Your Illuminati, your Rockefellers, Rothschilds, I've named them up here. And it's not just me. You can get a list of who the Illuminati is. Your global government sitting up there under the guise of the United Nations. I've put it all up, and I'm sitting here, and it scares me. Let me say this. I'm not sure about one that's happened here recently, and I didn't mean to bring it in because I haven't, I'm so tired of all this. Nobody seems to listen. Nobody seems to even want to get involved in making the press tell the truth. I have no idea. This young girl, it was on the news last night. She was murdered near here. Her roommate, and I'm saying this, and I'm not totally, it doesn't fit the patterns other than it was this question mark. Why on earth did this girl that's in college here stab her roommate to death? A very pretty girl and all that. I don't know if I'll put this up or not. What's been the use? And now then they're making laws easier to lock people up and use a mental health system against them, when the true meaning was using mind control to program them. And the precision is so organized. It's not the person doing the shooting or using the knife or whatever weapon. that's so methodical and organized. It's the program doing the programming. And right now, it shocked me when they were telling who released the reports saying that these people wanted publicity, like the Sandy Hook that shot his mom. They went in and shot the little kids. You're blaming the wrong people. Aurora, Colorado, James Holmes being fed psychotic drugs because he's a victim and he was programmed. It's the most hideous thing I have ever heard of. And if you ever hear it laid out before a court of law and a press that has to print it, who's going to forgive you that you've allowed all this to happen? If anybody told you the truth about it, you closed your eyes. You wanted to pretend it wasn't going on, that your country is this good country and can do no wrong. I am so tired of hearing and trying to get something done the best time I can, that the only thing I have is the video because I've been shut down. So, and I can hear people now talking, oh, here's this woman up here telling all this. Well, it happens to be true, and I'm wondering what good, if any, I have done, and who's going to come and get you next. You should have heard this to stay high. I've told about it, but this man laid it out with George Noory, how easy it is if you think somebody, if they can be saying something you don't like, man, you can have their asses hauled off, and they'll never see the light of day again. Now, that's your laws. And they're even being made worse and taking your guns away. And they even went into telling about having to pay all these background checks to get guns. They're making it even more worse. Blaming the wrong weapon, a gun. It's mind control. And the thing in it is they're trying to get even your bullets or that go in the gun. You can buy them, they were saying, and all you want, you can go into Walmart or like now you can. You can buy this whole bunch of bullets for your guns, and they don't even cost that much. But they're going to require a background check that's like $80 every time you go to buy a gun. I am so shocked at George Noory. I wonder about the purpose behind tonight. Him and this man who seems perfectly rational, got his ducks in a row, that they don't use it to tell the truth, because they certainly know